Hey guys, welcome back to Scanline City. Today I have something really special for you. This is the Brook Super Converter for the Sega Genesis, aka Mega Drive, and also the PC Engine series of consoles. Let's get into it. Fight! Alright guys, let me give you the lowdown on this really cool controller adapter we have here from Brook. This is part of their Super Converter line that allows you to use any PS3, PS4, and even Switch Pro controllers, both wirelessly and wired, on the Sega Genesis line of consoles, as well as the PC Engine line of consoles. That includes the Sega CD, the Model 1, 2, and 3 of the Sega Genesis, the Mega Sg from Analogue Interactive, the TurboGrafx 2, the Duo RX, the SuperGrafx, and even the TurboGrafx line that came out here in the United States with the right cable adapter. As far as I'm concerned, this is a game changer, okay? Because when I go and play the Sega Genesis or the PC Engine, first of all, I know that I have an amazing library, especially of shoot 'em ups. Shoot 'em ups, arcade games, fighting games, platformers, action games, just limitless games that you can play on those consoles that are amazing. For the Sega Genesis, I want to use either that 3-button pad or that 6-button pad that's amazing because it has fantastic D-pad. As far as the PC Engine goes, I'd probably use that 2-button pad. It's decent, not as good as the Sega Genesis, but still good. But then, the pinnacle would be to use an arcade stick. There enters the Super Converter by Brook for the Mega Drive, Sega Genesis, and PC Engine series of consoles. This allows you not only to use a Bluetooth functionality with your controllers wirelessly, but also you can plug your controllers in. Thank you for giving us that ability so that we can have reliable latency. We can use amazing arcade sticks like any of the Hori Real Arcade Pros or the VLXs or any arcade stick that you want out there. Who doesn't want to play Streets of Rage on a friggin' arcade stick? For me, as we all know, I love arcade sticks. There's not a lot of options out there. The original arcade sticks for the Sega Genesis are pretty much crap. Same thing goes for the TurboGrafx or even the PC Engine series of consoles. So usually you're stuck using adapters, and there's not that many out there. And the ones that are out there are not very good. You can get the ToToTech adapters. The ToToTech allows you to use PS2 controllers. They work, but the button layouts are really stupid. They do have a little bit of input latency, I feel. You don't have a 3-button to 6-button option there. And then when you look at things like the Retro Board, which is an amazing product, which does include the PC Engine, PS2, PS1, Sega Saturn, all these different consoles, but it does not include the Sega Genesis. In fact, I can't think of any multi-console PCB, the MC Cthulhu, PS360, the Retro Board, none of them include the Sega Genesis because of this kind of wiring layout. As far as the Bluetooth functionality of this guy goes, you just take your PS4 controller here, you plug a micro USB cable into this side, and then you plug the other end into your adapter here, press the home button, this thing's gonna sync up with this guy here. Once it's synced up, you can disconnect the cable, and when you turn this controller on again, when you have the home button, it'll automatically sync to this guy, just like it would your PS3 or PS4 console. Hands down, the best part about this adapter is the ability to change from a 3-button to a 6-button layout on the Sega Genesis. And that's very easy to do on this. So once you have your stick or your controller plugged into this, if you hold the home and the square button, that's gonna allow you to do the 6-button layouts. If you do the home and the triangle, that's gonna switch you back to a 3-button layout. And you can do that on the fly. When you first plug this thing in, it defaults to a 3-button layout, which is where your square is A, your triangle is B, and your circle is C. That works pretty well for a gamepad, but as far as an arcade stick goes, it's not ideal in my opinion, which is why you go for the 6-button layout. The best part about that 6-button layout is it's the classic Street Fighter layout where you get that 1 punch, 2 punch, 3 punch on top and that 1 kick, 2 kick, 3 kick on bottom. In other words, XYZ on top, ABC on bottom, which in my opinion, if you're on an arcade stick, is perfect for any game. You also get the original mode button that was featured on the original 6-button Sega Genesis controller, and it's actually mapped to the select button on your PS4 controller, which is really nice for those games that actually utilize that mode button in the game as an extra button, or even to use it when booting up into the 6-button controller. The PC Engine layout is also very cool, where your X and O is your 2 and 1 button, and your square and your triangle is your Turbo 2 and your Turbo 1. You also get the run and select button, not to mention your home button acts as the slow button on the PC Engine. All in all, I think it's a fantastic button layout featuring all the options for both consoles, but I wouldn't mind having an additional 3-button option for the Sega Genesis where the square, triangle, and R1 is the A, B, and C. They do advertise that button mapping is going to be available for this, and that's, I'm guessing, going to be available in a future firmware update, and they've done that with many of their adapters, so I have full confidence that you'll be able to do button mapping and pre-configured button configurations with this guy here. So let's talk about performance. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that I am very, very sensitive to input lag. I mean, I wouldn't be rocking like 20 BVMs and PVMs if I wasn't sensitive to input lag. But I'll be the first to tell you that this thing is basically lag-free, okay? I have tested this in the 240p suite using the manual lag test, and I've compared it against the Sega Genesis stock 3-button and 6-button, the TurboGrafx 2-button, the 8-bit DOE wireless, the Crix wireless, and I can tell you that this thing is better than just about any of them, if not on par with the 8-bit DOE and Crix in terms of wireless. But plugged in, I cannot tell the difference between a stock Sega Genesis controller and this thing plugged in to, say, a PS4 pad or a PS4 arcade stick. I can't really tell the difference. There is a few millisecond difference in terms of the actual 240p test suite, but in practice, I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to tell that there's any lag. All right guys, so the Brook Super Converter for the Sega Genesis, aka Mega Drive, and the PC Engine series of consoles. All of those games you can play using your favorite arcade sticks or Bluetooth on controllers using this device right here. It simply gives you all the options with all of the performance. Now, if you want one of these, you can buy it from arcadeshock.com. They're the ones who exclusively sell it. Boot up some Streets of Rage or maybe some Musha, plug in your arcade stick, and go have some fun. I'll see you later.